Welcome to the Robotics Through Science Fiction podcast. I'm Robin Murphy, and in this podcast, I'll try to answer the question, why are the biological sciences making advances faster than robotics? The question seems to be a very natural outcome of reading the Daryl Gregory short story, The Illustrated Biography of Lord Grimm. The Illustrated Biography of Lord Grimm portrays life in a struggling country under the rulership of the never-seen Lord Grimm. The country's like a comic book version of the old Soviet Eastern Bloc where workers toil away at making giant mecha robots to defend against superheroes who periodically fly in from the West and attack the country. The twist is that the country is more like the Island of Doctor Moreau, where many residents have been biologically modified. They would do better to focus on the biological defenses or creating their own superheroes than on trying to manufacture clunky robots. So the story raises the question of how come the biological sciences seem to be making advances faster than robotics? Well, actually, they are making advances faster than robotics. One reason is that the materials for biological research are much cheaper and plentiful. Cells, proteins, nerves, muscles, these are everywhere in diverse forms from sea slugs to primates. If you want to do basic research in genetics, you can grow some peas, $6.29 for a packet, or snag some houseflies, $19.50 for a pack of larvae, and get to work. If you want to do basic work in robotics, you have to build or buy a robot, that's up between $10,000 and $400,000, program it, hopefully it comes with a decent developer's kit, not always a given, and then get down to business. A second reason is the amount of investment. There's not a lot of money being poured into robotics. As Kim Stanley Robinson noted in his Mars trilogy, everyone wants to live longer, healthier lives, and are willing to pay big bucks. The National Institutes of Health get about $39.2 billion each year from the government. The National Science Foundation gets about $8 billion each year for all science, not just engineering and computer science. Yeah, sure, DARPA funds some robotics and artificial intelligence work, but it's lately gone to the competition model, where a few groups get funding while everyone else is expected to work for free with the payoff of winning a big reward. Great for press coverage, not necessarily great for sustained innovation. The National Robotics Initiative, NRI, was started in part to get at least a consistent, no matter how small, flow of money into robotics, on the grounds that manufacturing robots would keep companies in the U.S. who are leaving for countries with cheaper workers. Plus, it would help generate robot companies. Okay, we're going to start over. The National Robotics Initiative was started in part to at least get a consistent, no matter how small, flow of money into robotics on the grounds that manufacturing robots would keep companies in the U.S., the companies that were leaving for countries with cheaper workers. Plus, it would help generate new robot companies. There's nothing like seeing ideas from U.S. researchers get harvested and commercialized by companies from other countries. The NRI is basically all of the other federal agencies joined with the National Science Foundation to review and fund robotics research that's clearly related to application areas. For example, the Department of Energy is part of the NRI because they need robots for nuclear applications. I mean, we don't want to be in the same situation as the Japanese were during the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear accident. The Department of Agriculture, they would like more UAVs and smarter harvesters and so on. The National Science Foundation sets up the reviews. The NSF is famous for its stringent peer review. A good idea may not make it through, but a bad idea definitely won't. Sounds great, doesn't it? Now, keep in mind, the National Robotics Initiative gets a whopping $35 million a year. All right, the comparison so far has been about basic research. Let's talk about capital investments. Health has considerable investments in big pharma and biomed. Robotics has considerable investments in autonomous cars. Want to guess which is bigger? Capital that gets distributed to big pharma or capital for autonomous cars? Just think of the money that was thrown at Therontis. $35 million in autonomous car companies plus versus $39 billion in big pharma and biomed. It should be no surprise that biological sciences are producing amazing results every day, while robotics still seems the stuff of science fiction. So, read the illustrated biography of Lord Grimm in the We Robots anthology edited by Alan Castor, and ask yourself if you see your life or your children's lives heading towards a downward spiral of decreasing innovation. And on that happy note, remember, if you want to learn more about robotics and artificial intelligence, check out my new book, Robotics Through Science Fiction, Artificial Intelligence Explained Through 6 Classic Robot Short Stories, and subscribe to our YouTube channel and newsletter so you won't miss a thing.